Good evening, YouTube. What's up, everybody? So we're doing the next part of this series for the talking about the digital SHSAT. I'm Greg from Greg's Tutoring NYC. So I've done 6 parts of the series already. We've covered some general questions. I went through some prospecting of what some of the ELA questions and what some of the math questions may look like. So um, I'm taking a gamble today. I just started live stream again, so people are probably not used to me doing these streams. So um, we're just going to take questions and answers about the SHSAT in general, but in specific about the digital SHSAT. It's new. There's some confusion, um, and that's natural. That's to be expected. I had hoped that we had done some of this information for us all at this point already, but that didn't occur. So I'm trying to take it on by myself. I have tutored a lot of students for the SHSAT, and everybody's asking me some of the same kind of questions. So this is getting, first of all, tedious. So that's one reason why I did some of this, but also I think it's time that we kind of need to know what the information is. So I don't have all the answers. Like I had said in some of the platforms, I do not have access to the digital platform yet. So I'm just trying to put 2 and 2 together in a lot of cases, things like that. Um, I see 2 people in the lobby. Hello, please say hello. Please like and subscribe. So we'll just keep this casual. Again, we're really going to focus on the digital SHSAT, but you have SHSAT questions. Just kind of, I do these ad hoc, so there's not really a way to plan these too much on my end. Really just being filled in by a student who canceled the class or something like that. So um, uh, that's the way we have to do these kind of things, all right? Um, so again, the digital SHSAT is starting this year in the fall, right? The SHSAT normally happens around the last week of October. Um, hello, Joel. And through November, and some years it goes into December as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at. This video, it's February 3rd or something like that. Is that the date? Yeah, it's February 3rd. So the timeline is starting to get tight for the DOE to give us the rest of the information. Um, and I summarized what's known so far in some of the other videos that I've done. So hopefully you guys watch them. Some of this could be repetitious, but if anybody has any questions about the SHSAT, in specific the digital one, that's what we're here for tonight. So doesn't mean you can't ask any other questions, but I have no agenda. I have nothing planned to say. So this is strictly question and answer kind of a thing. So, and again, so the fall one is going to be digital, which means there's no longer going to be a paper and pencil test for the majority of students. Some students with IEPs or 504s may get a pencil and paper exam, but the majority of students are going to get a digital exam. And as I explained in some of the other videos, that does not mean just taking a photo of the paper and bringing it onto the screen. That would be the most naive way to do a digital exam, which is possible, but I'm fairly certain that's not what's going to be happening. So, and I went through maybe 40 questions showing a variety of question styles, ranging from the standard multiple choice to multiple response to what's called hotspots, to drag and drop, to a whole bunch of interesting things. Towards the end of the math, the part 6 had some interesting stuff in it. So that's kind of cool. In my own journey in this, even though there's other exams that have been digital for years, um, personally in my own journey is really related to the SAT. All right, because that just went digital. I guess it's 2 years now. Don't even really have the timeline straight in my head, right? So, and the specifics of the SAT don't necessarily need to be the specifics of the SHSAT. For instance, the SAT is adaptive, uh, but it's only partially adaptive. It's adaptive across sections, if you will. So it's split up into modules, and within a module, you can go back and forth and so on. There's other exams where that's not true. So that's one of the things we need to figure out and hear from the DOE about which model of adaptive testing they're doing. However, adaptive testing is not going to be in the first version. So the versions of the SHSAT during 2025 are not going to be adaptive. The heads up, they're saying the earliest that could be is 2026. And I have some speculation that that may not even be the case there. So it could be that it's postponed until 2027. But at this point, there's no more postponing. And the exam is absolutely unequivocally going digital this fall. All right. So this is something we have to deal with and figure out. And there's lots of confusion. Oh, what do we do? What's the next step? For now, what you should really be doing is ensuring your grade level proficiency, mastering your current classes, reading, and then reading, right? So those are essential things you guys have to do. And they're the core of the exam. That's the general knowledge base. You have to do that no matter what, because you can't get to do the questions that make you think and go deeper without that core, right? So this kind of be maybe 3 phases to this, because with my students, I normally have 2 phases, which is we ensure prerequisites and grade level material, and then we work on SHSAT specific stuff. And this is dealing with the paper exam, all right? But I do the same thing with my SAT students, just ensuring they have most of the topics and concepts down. And then we can worry about the more involved kind of questions, all right? So now we basically have a situation where you can't practice completely on paper. At some point, you do have to go digital, all right? So that's the thorn on our side at the moment. We don't know what the platform is going to look like. And even though I did part 4 with the ELA, part 5 and 6 about the math, variety of question types and styles, we don't know exactly which one the DOE is going to end up using. They might also use different ones than the ones I presented, right? I was just giving representational samples of all that kind of a thing. So I was in no way, shape, or form saying that I had access to the platform. In no way, shape, or form saying I knew exactly which features they were going to be using. But just I've used the with experience with the SAT, and I've had access to other digital exams for years now myself. I remember even doing digital work with some students taking the New York State exam years and years ago. And now the New York State exam has gone digital itself, so that there's a requirement kind of that. Now, the New York State exam was not as digitized as some of the examples I gave in the part 4, 5, and 6. But nonetheless, it's still something that's going to happen. So students do need to get familiar with the technology. And in some ways, it's a learning curve. At the same time, as you could see, if you watched the part 4, 5, and 6 with the ELA sample questions that I came up with and the math sample questions that I came up with, demonstrating what the digitizing of the exam would mean. I kind of find it a bit exciting, and I can see other opportunities for some real interesting questions that the exam can have. All right, so I see a few people in the lobby now. Please ask questions, because I just kind of don't want to be in repeat. Obviously, please like and subscribe. Unless I answered all the questions everybody had in part 1 through 6. So my kind of reasoning here was we jumped into part 1, basically summarized what was going on, and it kind of exactly how it is as a top level. Part 2, I kind of covered, there was already misinformation spreading about the exam, that you couldn't go back to certain questions, and it had to be taken at home and stuff like that. That none of that's true. And then so that was part 2. Part 3, we added on some additional details. For instance, like that, it's still going to be no calculators. The DOE is still saying that the exam is going to be 3 hours. Now, the bit of information that has been revealed that I'm suspect about is that Chalkbeat reported that the exam was going to be practice exams were going to be made available in March. And I don't know if that's the beginning of March, the middle of March, the end of March, but I don't know that that's exactly happening. And they were very vague and unclear about what form that was going to be. Is it just going to be another DOE handbook on paper form? Because that is not going to be particularly helping us. You guys eventually need to actually be practicing with real digital exams. And that's what I said in the journey before. You're going to do prerequisites and core knowledge stuff first. Then you might do a bunch of stuff, which is SHSAT level questions. And again, there's now something like 15 years worth of handbooks, each with 2 exams each. A lot of redundancy, but there's still at minimum a dozen unique exams we can get to there. And there's also third-party workbooks from Kaplan, Barron's, Queller, Tutorverse, you name them. So there's actually a wealth of paper-based exams already, and that's using the current style of questioning. And my explanation was always that they are representational samples. The handbooks were never meant to literally be the exact exam, okay? And they never were meant to, even if you take the conglomeration of all the DO handbooks and make them like a super exam based on all the topics they cover there, it's still not enough. Remember, this is grade level proficiency. So you guys still need to kind of get into that level and doing stuff like that. And in any event, given the way I showed some of the way the digitizing of the exams can work in part 4, 5, and 6 of this series, the questions are going to change. The underlying topics are still going to be the same, but they can also test different variations of the underlying topics. Now, they always could have. So that's the beast. That's how the SHSAT ends up being a beast, right? So that's part of what's going on there. All right, I see a few more people coming into the lobby. Welcome. Please like and subscribe, and please ask your questions. So again, we're talking mainly focusing on the digital SHSAT, but I'll take normal SHSAT questions as well. And this is really referring to, so just for those who may or may not know, so current 7th graders should kind of really start their prep journey now, so that by the time they're in 8th grade and the fall happens, they're kind of up to gear. There's going to be kind of 2 things happening there, which is going to have the summer gap. And some people go to camps, vacations, just chill or whatever, but you can't really depend on that. It's important to be consistent here. That's a key component to any kind of prep journey. And prep doesn't mean just taking practice exams. You should be studying, learning, and tapping into what the premise of the exam is as a whole, which is it's a thinking exam, right? So this is kind of where you want to go with some of these things. All right, anybody have any questions? Because I could leave this open-ended. Again, I didn't come into this part of the series with an agenda today. I just thought that with the SAT as a whole, even not talking about the digital part has complications, and the high school process as a whole, obviously, as well. But now with the digital part packed on top of it, I'm already seeing that people were confused and so on. So I just kind of want to make this, I'm going to keep this video series going about the digital SHSAT as we learn more and things like that. I wanted people to be up to date and feeling comfortable with what the DOE is doing here. All right, so that's kind of what so I presented a bunch of stuff. We kind of have a good snapshot, a line in the sand. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody was in sync with that line in the sand at the moment. All right, because if the DOE does release the exams, 2 practice exams next month, even if they're on paper, that's still something that we need to talk about. And I'm getting a warning that the stream is failing. Let me see here. Do I have somebody do a thumbs up if this is still working? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. Any questions? Any questions? And it could be everybody's up to date. If everybody feels comfortable with the digital SHSAT, you could post that in the chat as well. So this was intended to be interactive, not with just me speaking. And again, I do these ad hoc, so I can't really plan and say next Friday at 6:30 I'm available. I can't do that. So unless we just make these say at midnight or something like that. All right. What I don't really want to do is go on repeat here. The other 6 videos are describing it. So again, the first 3 is giving general information, and the next 3 are giving actual examples of the ELA and the math section according to me, right? I made educated guesses of what the question styles might look like. Again, I've worked with other digital exams, and from what I understand, the DOE is saying about what this exam is going to contain, that's kind of where it's going to be. That's still up in the open, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a zoom feature. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a highlighting feature, certainly for reading passages. I hope they include the highlighting feature into other areas as well, like the SAT. The digital SAT also has a highlighting feature, and it doesn't let you highlight every single thing. All right. There should also be a facility to do taking notes of your own as well. I'm not too keen on that because you can get too bogged down in taking the notes because the screen, you need a certain real estate on the screen. At the same time, the majority of students do not annotate, so which I personally think is a problem. And students can also over annotate, so there's a problem with that too. Um, the annotations, right? This is a timed exam. It's 3 hours for not particularly older children. So there's issues that the students have to deal with like that, right? So that's a problem as well. There's going to be an equation editor as well. I'm certain of that. There's not going to be a calculator, so there's not like the SAT provides Desmos, DESMOS. There's going to be nothing like that provided on this side as well. All right, the students will be getting scrap paper. That's still going to be a given, but you can't do too much with scrap paper with a reading comprehension passage. Um, Now, if you look through my Part 4, I do have some ELA examples that show how you can do different stuff about moving stuff around live as you're solving something. So, and that's where a digital exam can be an improvement, like revising heading B, where it says move let's say they put a last sentence on a passage, on a paragraph, and they say, well, that sentence is in the wrong place. Where should it go? Well, the beauty now is you could drag the sentence to the right place. And with a paper-based exam, the student might be able to drag it mentally, but now that you can literally drag it. So there is a yin yang going back and forth between these kind of things. So highlighting itself may no longer be the only concept that kind of should be happening, right? Because if you can drag a sentence or something like that, that could be something handy as well. And I would imagine, I'm not certain for sure that they're going to be able to type text maybe on top of the thing on the side. There might be a column on the side or something like that. So that is still something that's going to be open. And I don't know how they're going to handle IEPs and 504s and so on. But some digital exams also have text to speech options and things like that. So that's one of the open-ended things. All we can do is speculate on some of these. Again, just being familiar with other digital exams and kind of what's pragmatic and things like that. And what remains to be seen too is on the notion of, say, underlining. Is there a stylus available? Right? Is this going to be touch screen only? Will you have to have a third party device to do stuff like that? is a mouse going to be required? It seems like it should be, right? So things like that. So depending on exactly how they set this up, it could be interesting. All right. Any other questions? And again, I'm begging the DOE to give these answers. I've been asking them for about 2 years at this point to provide me this information. I've given them dozens and dozens and dozens of questions. So these are things on the table. They are going to be providing a resource guide. Obviously, they're going to be documenting the tools that are going to be available when they finally release the digital platform. And at some point, they have to let us practice on it, right? So there's things like that. So also, what they haven't answered is so the SHSAT style is basically a page to 2-page passages. Well, that used to be the SAT style as well. Now they've gone to smaller, shorter passages. So that might be an option that the SHSAT takes as well. So the notion of annotating diminishes. I'm not saying it goes away completely, because I still think circling and underlining and putting a check mark and things like that are important things to do. Again, even in the math section, I personally, when I'm doing a math question, will circle stuff, especially on the part that's the question question. The question is the actual part where there's the question mark on it, usually the last sentence of a word problem. Um, I'm looking for specific stuff there. It might say, instead of it saying, what's the answer, I might say, what's the greatest possibility? Or if there's a difference between the word, what must, or what can be the answer, or something like that. Those are things I look for that I actually circle on the question so that when I'm finally solve the question myself, and then try to double check it or something, I'm making sure that I read the question right. So students can avoid silly errors, attention to detail, all that kind of stuff like that. So yeah, I hope there's some feature that's going to be available there, and there has to be. But the question is at what level, right? And there's also something called the line reader, which is not highlighting in yellow or neon or something like that, but it lets it, as you can tell it, to scroll down one thing at a time. So you kind of you know, like a magnifying glass, but not particularly making it bigger, where you could tell it to just maybe put a square around something, and it kind of lightens up so that the student can focus on that. We also want on the answer parts, okay, we want the answers to be able to do things like X and answer, even just while you're trying to solve it. So you can rule out choices through some feature like that. So it may not be highlighting, but some other rule out answer feature like that. Yes, and of course this is up to the proficiency of a student. I personally have found over the years, and you as well probably because you're a tutor, that by the time you solve hundreds and even thousands of these passages, some of the things that you originally depended on were kind of fake tools that actually made you depend on the tool and stopped you from thinking through the process. A lot of students read passages like zombies, and that's not healthy because they get to the end of it and they don't know what they read. So one of the beauties of annotation or some process that engrosses the student in the passage is to keep them active on the passage. So it's not only so much that they're annotating on the side, but it's keeping them involved in the passage. So when they get to the end of it, they kind of know what's going on. And I have things like I tell students, when you get to the end of the passage, write down the main idea, on the piece of paper or something. So this is something there that's going to happen, and this is involved. It's complicated, but there's enough students who can get to be proficient where they don't have to do so much annotation and stuff like that anymore. Okay. Any other questions? Please like and subscribe. Yeah, these are fun questions, Lori. So thank you for asking them. Gets down to the meat of it, if you will. I'm probably going to do a tool. I did surmising the question type. So what I might do is a video talking about surmising the tools. I mentioned this in the last video. I was going to hold off, but maybe I'll just make it the next video. I'm not really sure. Yeah. All right. Well, ag- we're agreeing a lot about stuff here. Um, and yeah, and again, of course, if the exam is shorter passages, it changes the dynamics of a lot. Now, it doesn't mean don't annotate. It doesn't mean don't underline. It doesn't mean don't put notes. But if it's able to be kind of grasped in one little bite-sized piece, that makes the exam uh, different. I'm not saying it's going to make it easier, because the question's still going to end up being challenging, right? One of the things I do as an exercise with my students, um, in the beginning of the prep journey, is to actually analyze only paragraphs, and try to get the main idea of a paragraph. And it's interesting that the majority of students cannot do that. And it's also furthermore interesting that the majority of students have never even learned properly things like what the main idea even means as a concept. So that's a messed up situation. So we could see, when the question says, what's the main idea of a passage? We could see how a lot of students can get that wrong. Well, that's me. I don't know if that's good, but and there's enough other people who are good SHSAT tutors as well. Um, but it taps into the essence of what's being asked there, right? You're not being asked for the summary, and you're almost really not even ever being asked for the plot, right? So they're focusing on things. They're getting you to think, get into the bowels of that passage, and really answer the question: what the heck is this author trying to communicate to us, right? So that's a tough one. All right. Anybody else with questions? There's a few people in the lobby. Please like and subscribe. Come on. All right. Any other questions? Digital SHSAT people. Come on. I get multiple emails a day and stuff like that about this. And I did this so ad hoc. I did not even invite my students. Um, although they're supposed to be uh, subscribed to my channel already, right? How about you, Joel? You still out there, Joel? And like I said, I'm so used to the paper-based exam that the digital version is exciting me. I just see other possibilities here, um, and I think the student benefits from this as well. One of the original things, when the general public found out, I knew about the digital exam for about 2 years, but the general public only just found out recently, and they were like, "What? Where? Huh? Paper-based exam and digital has all these problems." And no, a paper-based exam has a number of problems as well. So it's just about getting things balanced. And I think for the students' benefit, um, when the exam finally goes adaptive in at least 2026, it's not going to at first. It will technically be a shorter exam. So so there's time savings of things like that as well. So and I think maybe an indirect post-exam benefit is that if the exam is digital, theoretically that means you can get the answers back faster, instead of waiting 4 months or whatever they do there. So, or even longer, where the students would take it like the last week in October. So, um, there's that as well. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can see a lot of problems popping up. I could see this being a catastrophe. It all depends on exactly how it's done, and if the equipment can handle it, and the internet is fine, and there's not a power outage, and even at one site. That said, there's been problems already with paper-based exams along those same lines, where students got the wrong exams, exams being sent back to Pearson, the company writing the exam, getting lost, a whole bunch of things like that. So this is no panacea, but in my experience with the SAT going digital and just doing some research through the part 4, 5, and 6 of this exam, it kind of I mean, I like this because it's like solving puzzles all day, and it's rewarding to help students do some of this. So that's the part that excites me. But I'm in no way naive. This could be catastrophic. So this is part of what we need to figure out and deal with. So, all right. Any other questions? I'm getting a message again that the stream is having a problem. I don't know if it is or not. And my intention with this series is to keep it going till at least the exam happens. So what we're going to do is kind of go through the same process here. As we get more information, I'll do streams about it, and at certain points like this, we'll do Q&A periods about that. So no problem about that. Apologizing for confidence so much. Finally able to catch a live with you and thrilled about the opportunity to commute with you in real time. I haven't watched your first 6 videos. Well, you have to do that. It's about 3 hours of material already, believe it or not. So that's what you guys have to do. So just to summarize, because I've been talking and not particularly reading the comments here. Lori's asking was asking about underlining and annotating and doing notes, and kind of verbalized a lot about the ELA section there. So yeah, at the end of the day, there's still about 10 months, I guess, here now, right? We're at the February. No, I guess it's 8 months at this point. Something like 8 months until the SHSAT. Let's see, for February to March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, so we're 8.5 months. Let's say if we talk about the middle of November. So the timeline is cut down here. And if we do one of these about a week, once a week or something, we're going to have a lot of videos in this series, and I'll compact things as they're making sense. Obviously, some of these videos will kind of expire, uh, especially if the DOE changes their mind about how something's going to work. Um, all right, so we have a few people in the lobby again. Please ask questions. At least say hi. Because I don't want to just repeating what I'm saying in this video, nor I don't really want to repeat the other 6 videos on top of it either. And for anybody just coming in, we're talking about the digital SHSAT and also the SHSAT in general. So I've been tutoring it for years. I took it as a 14-year-old. So as you can imagine, that's a long time being aware and knowing about the SHSAT. And I've been tutoring it since a long time as well. So, um, and it's gone through a few various adaptations over the years as well, particularly around the 2018 timeframe. They did away with some sections and replaced it with the revising editing A and the revising editing B. So this is kind of nothing new. This is not anything to panic about. It would be nice if the DOE provided the information to us. I'm in talks with the DOE. I do have some information. As I get it, I'm revealing it. So, uh, of course, they need to do that, right? So there's various documents being produced. Certainly, they're going to be changing their website. So, and I am in no way, shape, or form pretending to speak on their behalf. I think it's really important to get this information out there, and I'm kicking and screaming to them to get us the information in public, not from me, from them. I think it's important that has to be official material and stuff for them. So I'm just trying to discuss this and get people familiar with what's going to be going down for the most part. It doesn't mean some of the facts. So I was speculating on the part 4, 5, and 6. Those are pure speculation. The other parts, I gave a whole bunch of facts, like there's going to be a 3-hour exam, there's going to be no calculator, it's going to be only digital the first year, maybe to 2026 is going to finally go adaptive. They're not revealing what the adaptive model is yet. All those facts. And again, if you go to the link at the bottom of the page, GregsTutoringNYC.com says digital-SHSAT, facts. Some of the notes from the first 3 videos are contained in that video. And the links to the other videos are there as well. Of course, you're subscribing to my channel, so there's things like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anybody else with questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? I'm seeing a few people in the lobby. I know there's other people out there. Okay, what we can do is just hang out a few minutes, see if anybody's joining. And again, the focal point is going to be that GregsTutoringNYC.com says digital SHSAT. Otherwise, we may end the stream in 2 minutes. Again, was ad hoc, and we can just do this in bite-sized pieces. Wait, I think I'm getting more comments here. Let's see. Yes, clicked on this because I've seen your comments on Reddit. Highly respect your opinion and generally agree with them. Yeah. Yes, I'm the moderator of our SHSAT. So, all right. Let's see. We're 15 minutes, which is a good piece of thing here. Let's see. Is this right? Is that 15 minutes? Hold on. I can't tell. All right. In any event, like I said, there's going to be many, many parts to this, folks, and we're just going to keep going on. So at least the exam happens as we learn the information. Keep it exciting and get interested to it. And it's at the point where it doesn't even matter if somebody disagrees with this or whatever. This is what's happening, and it doesn't mean we need to be subservient to the situation, but this is what's happening. The exam's a reality, and it's going digital. So that's that, and that's the deal. All right, so let's see. We'll give this about 30 more seconds because I don't want to just be on repeat, and I don't want to just be sitting here not talking about anything. Anybody? We got more people joining. All right, for those just joining, we're just about to end. So if you have questions about the exam, now is the time to ask it. All right, well, there's going to be other parts, certainly about the tools and any other news that comes out. And at some point, I'm going to do another Q&A, probably a bunch of them. So, all right. Hopefully, everybody has a great evening, and you have all started your prep journeys at this point. So that's important to figure out and get done. All right. Let's see here. Let me just check this here. All right, people. Yep, no problem. All right, guys. Peace out. I appreciate you guys as well. It's rewarding working with some of these students in different communities, and I love volunteering and helping. So, peace out, y'all. Have a good night. Bye.